increased. Xena.
Snap. KC. ACET. ACET. ACB.
JCI.
ACB. ACET. ACET. ACB.
NVDA. JCI. SBSW. NVDL.
ACET.
NVDL. NVDA.
LUCK, Lucky Strike, Q2 sales 300 million, missing the 315.99 million estimate. It's Lima Uniform Charlie Kilo,
NVDA.
LUCK.
NVDL.
ACET.
NVDA. NVDL.
ACET. ACET.
NVDA. JCI. ACET.
ACET.
NVDA.
NVO. ACET.
NVDL.
ACET.
ACET. NVDA.
ACET.
NVDL. NVDA, NVDL, NVDL,
SFHG,
NVDA,
SXTP,
Zone,
ACET, SAN, ACB, ACET,
increased,
SFHG, ACET, SNAP, plug, SFHG, ACET, plug, SMST, ACET, ACET, SFHG, SXTP, ACET,
Mr. Wonderful here. My friend Howard Marks is the co-founder of Activision,
ACET,
the gaming giant that was just acquired for an impressive $68.7 billion. Now Howard and I have teamed up on his latest.
Fed Vice Chair Jefferson, Tom Barkin is speaking. So we got a bunch of Fed members speaking today. Tomorrow we got jobless claims. Friday we got non-farm payrolls and unemployment. And then next week's super
ACET.
busy. Tuesday we got Jerome Powell in the semi-annual monetary policy report.
ACET,
Tuesday we got Jerome Powell in the semi-annual monetary policy report with Congress. I'm pretty sure he speaks.
ACET,
Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure. I don't actually see it. Semi-annual monetary policy report. They should have scheduled it at least. I don't see
Yes.
it yet though.
NVDA,
Yes.
NVDL,
BP,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they scheduled it yesterday.
DIS,
NVDL,
SFHG,
Yeah, so it's going to be 2/11
NVDA,
at 10 a.m. So that's next Tuesday at 10 a.m. We're going to have Jerome Powell in the
SFHG.
semi-annual monetary policy report
USAU,
in Congress, specifically
NVDA,
for the Senate.
NVDL,
You know, there's
USAU.
there's two sides of Congress. There's the House and the
LAES.
Senate. The Senate will be first It's going to be at 10 a.m. It's going to be basically Jerome Powell testifying in front of Congress, specifically this one in front of the Senate, and it can move markets. We're going to stream it live. That's next week. Following that, on Wednesday we got CPI inflation data. Thursday we got PPI inflation data. Friday we got retail
SXTP.
sales data. Yeah, busy week.
NVDL.
And then today we
OSCR.
have Amazon earnings also.
NVDA.
SFHG.
NVDL.
Yeah, so we did have some
NVDA.
earnings. Again, guys, Uber showed up this morning.
NVDL.
Let's take a look at all the earnings that dropped today.
NVDA.
Uber showed up this
NVDL.
morning. They posted 321 EPS, beat the 50-cent estimate. So Uber did really, really well in terms of their EPS versus expected. Again, they expected 50-cent
AAPU.
EPS. They showed $3.21,
TLT.
a 542% surprise of EPS beat. Revenue came in at 11.96 versus 11.76. They must have seen
NVDA.
something they didn't like, maybe guidance numbers for Uber, because Uber ended up dropping pretty
NVDA.
significantly from this
NVDL.
report.
NVDA.
Does anyone know Uber,
NVDL.
why Uber was down?
NVDA.
Let me get a little bit
NVDL.
deeper in here. I think probably guidance. Okay, yeah, gross bookings outlook for Uber is down, right?
NVDL.
So
TLT.
for the current quarter, it said it anticipates gross bookings to grow 17% to 21%
AMCN.
from
Snap.
the prior year. 42 billion to 43.5 billion at the midpoint. The forecast was
NVDL.
below expectations at
TQQQ.
43.5 billion. So, yeah, they missed that. That's why.
AAPU.
They also only showed 1.79 billion and 1.89 billion adjusted earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and
SXTP.
amortization. So EBITDA. Yeah, so that's why they missed. Walt Disney again posted 176 versus
SFHG.
144 EPS. BDPS missed revenue though. They posted 24.7.
AAPU.
Expectation they only showed
SFHG.
24.69, but Disney is up a little
SFHG.
bit on this report. We also had Novo Discs. They BDPS beat revenue. They're up some from this. Boston Scientific, BSX. They're kind of volatile, low liquidity. Toyota Motor Company, they beat EPS and beat revenue. They are up a pretty big amount, although the liquidity is kind of low
ACET.
for this one as well. We had ACB, Aurora Cannabis. They are up big. I don't think they ended up posting their results, but
CMG.
ACB was one of the OG cannabis stocks. They did post. They posted 88.2 million Canadian revenue. They expected, what did they expect? They expected 57 million, so way better than expected revenue. And they're gapping up some. Again, though, I'm just not confident that any cannabis stock is going to, like, you know, this is a Canadian
ACET.
market. I'm just not confident any cannabis stock is going to unlock access in U.S. markets. You know, politicians are they lobby against it pretty regularly. Law enforcement are the biggest ones that lobby against
CMG.
it, specifically because, you know, they don't want to lose that business, which is kind of a conflict of interest, like, you know, prosecuting people for something that is, you know, pretty consistently
Snap.
like less harmful than alcohol that you can buy at gas stations. You know what I mean? So it's just a little hypocritical, but nonetheless, ACB is up big today. Is at 419.
SXTP.
Other companies that had earnings today, I don't think we had any other big ones today after the bell
NVO.
though. Again, the big one today after the bell. Oh no, that's tomorrow after the bell. So the big one after the bell tomorrow
AMCN.
is Amazon. We have ARM today, which has had a crazy run since it's you know, this one IPO'd not that long ago. Look at IPO back here. I remember I bought this one IPO day, rode it all the way up to 160s. I'm not in it anymore, but I held it for a long time. We also have Ford after the closing bell. Did we lag a little bit, chat?
SFHG.
Did we lag?
ACET.
AMCN.
ACET.
SLXN.
I don't think we should, no lag. I don't think we should ban
NVDL.
alcohol either. I think we should have an even standard of what's allowed versus not allowed.
NVO.
And my biggest issue, to be honest, is the pharmaceutical industry. They are absolutely the ones that are keeping it illegal, right? And they're painting it in such a negative light for everything And it's not like I'm a parent. Like, I don't use that stuff. You know what I mean? But in terms of just tax dollars being wasted on something, my tax dollars are getting wasted on prosecuting people for cannabis, 100%. It's objectively less harmful than alcohol. Alcohol causes far more deaths, far more accidents, far more problems. It's far more dangerous as a substance. The toxicity levels are higher. Yet you can buy it at gas stations all around the country for the most part, and cannabis is like demonized and illegal, and it's a silly thing that we're wasting tax dollars on. And the pharmaceutical industry recognizes this, right? And they don't want it legal because it's going to, render a lot of their drugs that they've spent millions on obsolete. And so, because it causes no physical withdrawal symptoms, it doesn't make people addicted to it physically in the same way that a lot of their synthetic drugs do, and they just don't want it legal. And so they lobby heavily against it. And it's very self-evident. It's obvious, but again, that mixed with like law enforcement's lobbyists keep it illegal, basically, especially in places like Texas. But
SXTP.
it is what it is.
TLT.
All right, gold at 28.90s here, chat. 28.90s.
SXTP.
FMS.
NVDL. Snap.
I don't know. Today's prelim jobs data. It's called the non-farm employment change, right? It's non-farm employment change. We'll see what happens. Snapchat at almost 12s.
ACET. ACET. SATL.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say it wasn't addictive, right? Coffee's addictive. Candy is addictive.
NVDL.
You know what I mean? Cigarettes are addictive. Alcohol's addictive, right? I didn't say it wasn't addictive. People can get addicted to anything. What I said was that it wasn't physically addictive. Not in the same way. There might be some physical addiction, but it's certainly not going to cause like massive sickness and withdrawal symptoms like alcohol will, and like a lot of the other pharmaceutical drugs that, it's certainly not going to cause the same type of thing.
TLRY.
SBSW.
Yeah. And again, my biggest issue, to be honest, as a parent, this is my biggest issue. My biggest issue is that cannabis is dangerous because it's illegal, and you have to go to sketchy drug dealers, and they will eventually offer people other stuff. That's why it becomes a gateway drug, is because they say, hey, I've got this stuff, you want to try it, because they're illegal dealers, right? If you regulated it at dispensaries, it wouldn't have the same effect. It wouldn't be nearly as much of a gateway drug as it is when it's illegal. And it ultimately is much more dangerous for people in general. People are going to consume it regardless of its legalization status. And you're basically causing people to go through really sketchy means, and it's very dangerous in that regard.
NVDL.
And so I worry about kids. Right? I worry
NVDL.
about
NVDA. CMG.
Yeah, Ford is at 4:05 p.m. Ford has been, the stock is only at $10 a share now. It's been kind of weak over the last few years.
HIMS, NVDL. AMZN. AMZN.
BBAI.
AMZN, PRZO.
Illy has a new law where
ACB.
Yeah, that's crazy.
PRZO. BBAI.
SFHG.
CMGN.
Yeah, I'm going to trade today for sure.
PRZO,
I'm waiting for the data to
zero.
come out in about 15 minutes,
Says it
20 minutes.
demonstrates its precision airdrop system.
First, though, we got
with a leading defense company that's Papa Romeo
so I'm gonna let
Zulu
that
Oscar PRZO.
before I take trades. It's just too volatile and risky to. I think the market's kind of choppy
QNTM.
right now and a little unpredictable as well. So I'm just gonna wait until it stabilizes after the data comes out. And again, like I don't do any of this stuff. Like I'm looking at it from a
PYPL.
harm prevention perspective. And so
SFHG. SXTP.
PRZO.
PRZO.
BBAI. CMG.
PRZO.
BBAI.
A good dividend? I don't know. What's the dividend payment for Ford? I don't trust Ford. I like Ford long term. I think Ford's going to be fine long term. I just think it might not grow very much. That's the only reason I don't like Ford as a company, is that it might not grow as much as some of the other companies. It might not have as big potential as some of the other companies.
PRZO. PRZO. PRZO.
PRZO.
NVDL.
PRZO. PRZO.
NVDA. NVDA. HIMS. NVDL. NVDL.
ACET. QNTM.
NVDL.
I don't know if we're going to
NVDL.
go up or down. We're expecting right now 150,000
NVDA.
non-farm employment change
NVDL.
report. Now this is the prelim report. This one's called ADP non-farm employment change, right? So this is a little bit different than the
NVDL.
non-farm payroll data. It's kind of like the prelim.
SXTP.
data.
NVDA. NVDA. NVDL.
So yeah, this data drops in about 15 minutes. Gold pumping up over all-time highs today. The Nasdaq at 520s. If we look at like a 4-hour chart, we do see we've stagnated
PFE.
basically since the start of December. I don't know what we're gonna do now. To be honest, though, most of the time if we slump big, it's not after stagnating for this long. So typically, stagnation like this can be a good thing in some
NVDL.
ways, where we pick up
NVDL.
steam.
NVDL.
It's possible. I mean, it's also
NVDL.
possible we come back down and we just dip from this. That's possible too. But generally, when we dump, it looks more so like big run, dump, like this, right? Like that's
SFHG.
what it generally looks like. And I don't know if
SBSW.
we necessarily see that right now. We just got to kind of wait and see.
BCS. HIMS.
All right, guys. Google sitting at 193s. We got Meta still over 700. And Meta's been
SFHG.
crazy strong. Crazy strong.
AG. ACET.
CCL.
PRZO. PRZO. PRZO.
CCL.
SXTP.
AMZN. AMZN.
SFHG.
All right, chat. Hey, there's the 8 a.m. scrum, and it's now 8 a.m. Let's see if we get any news releases
AMZN.
dropped this morning.
LITM.
So far, we have IBM filing for, what is this? IBM filed for a 5-part denominated notes offering. They didn't disclose the size, though. All right, so the Fed's Barkin is speaking right now. He says hard to know what specific tariffs are coming according to
SFHG.
Bloomberg. So we're going to put some of this news up in chat as well.
PRZO.
Yeah, Palantir has been a crazy one, to be honest. Palantir is now dipping down a little bit. It hit 106 yesterday.
ACB.
Or the day, yeah, yesterday. Now dipping down some. They get Fed's Barkin.
HIMS. AAPU. NVO. AMC. BABX.
ACET.
MTCH. ITRM. INTC. CELH.
SFHG.
HEB. QMCO.
ACET.
Yeah, so let me check those out. So, yeah, we had a lot of news today. We're going to cover a lot of this. Let me open up this one.
MRK. BVD.
So, yeah, so Apple fell 3% in pre-market after China reportedly considers a probe into the App Store practices. So Apple down a little bit of pre-market. Again, we got less than 15 minutes
ICBW.
before the prelim non-farm employment data comes out.
NVDU.
SFHG.
Graph.
So Vanguard made it's
NBDU.
cheaper to invest in ETFs, what the fee war
SPGC.
means for investors.
NBDU.
So Vanguard Group has slashed the cost of investing in its funds in a record move that is
SFHG.
expected to save investors over $350 million this year.
QSI.
We also have
RR.
Tesla sales are diving in Germany and across
SFHG.
Europe. Two German trade group reports 60% year-on-year fall in Tesla registrations.
ENSC.
This is in lower Germany. In January, sales of the EV company have fallen across Europe as well. German trade group
SBSW.
reported again new vehicle registrations fell 60%, which is the biggest percentage drop for an automaker that's sold at least 1,000 cars in the country. Looking at some other stuff here. Amazon and Temu's owner sees stock market
ACET.
pressure as U.S. Postal Service to stop accepting Chinese parcels. Huh.
ACRB. F.
Yeah, whether
NVO.
Palantir is gonna be a good
GBDC.
hold, I'm not
Baba.
sure. It's up a lot.
NVO.
The PE ratio is crazy high. for this
NVO.
one. Like, to be honest, Palantir is a good company, but the PE ratio is kind of
NTLA.
crazy.
RR. PRZO.
TQQQ. INDP.
All right, as of today, Palantir has a PE ratio of about 185 PE.
ITW
SXTP.
Illinois
Palantir's
Tool
PE
Works
ratio is
Q4
over
adjusted EPS of $2.54,
Uh,
beating the
I'm not
$2.50
saying it's not a
estimate.
good time to buy it. I'm
Sales
saying the price to
3.9
earnings
billion,
ratio
missing the
is
3.99 billion.
Palantir right
Estimate
now.
for India Tango Whiskey
ACRB.
ITW.
INDP.
Hey, thank you, Andrew.
GGLS.
ACRB,
BTI.
Acrivon Therapeutics
INDP.
granted FDA breakthrough device designation for
ENSC.
Market's been
ACR
sideways for a while
368.
now. Nvidia's one to watch too.
That's
after
Alpha
AMD
Charlie
earnings,
Romeo
right?
Victor,
So we had Nvidia
ACRV,
earnings. Or we had AMD earnings yesterday. Nvidia's
INDP.
popping up, though it's still under 120s, but it's had kind of a
Indipus Therapeutics
whirlwind.
receives
Like, here's
Health
Nvidia,
Canada approval to
over the
initiate
last, like,
trial for Decoy
CLG.
20,
really
India,
is
November.
wow.
Delta
ACRV.
Papa,
It's up this morning, though. It's almost at
ACRV.
120, so that's an optimistic
Big spread.
thing. Like, that's a good thing. We got 10 minutes
ANVS,
chat. 10
Novus
minutes
Bio,
before
ACRV.
non-farm
announcing
reported data comes
first
out.
2 patients have been entered into phase 3 study evaluating Buntantab in early AD.
Palantir's
That's
hype-
Alpha Nancy
hype-driven.
Victor Sandy, ANVS.
SXTP.
KTTA.
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 Looking at our poll, does the
KTTA.
U.S. market correct over the next 6 months? 70% say yes, 30% say no in the poll. Interesting, nonetheless, here, guys. Again, let's get ready for the prelim NFP data. It's coming soon. What else we got?
ACB.
It's Wednesday. We had the mortgage rate come out today, so the mortgage rate showed up a little bit lower today at 6.97%. Still objectively
KTTA.
high, but last time it showed up at
BP.
over
ABN.
7%. Today it showed up at 6.97% for the 30-year mortgage rate.
BP.
Again, we got
Snap.
ADP non-farm employment. I'm showing
KTTA.
150 expected. Some other places are showing 148 expected here. So we got that coming out. Again, we got a lot of Fed members speaking today. We got services PMI later on. We got Barkin speaking.
Snap.
ACB's Lane speaking. We got Barkin speaking right now. really, I
INDP.
think.
INDP.
KTTA.
Bowman
KTTA.
speaking later on this afternoon.
SBSW.
claims
BBD.
tomorrow.
KTTA.
KTTA.
So non-farm
BBAI.
payrolls are expected
BBAI.
at
INDP.
54K.
KTTA.
4,000. Unemployment's
BBAI.
expected at 4.1% on Friday.
BBAI. MSTR.
BBAI.
How important is it for gold and the Nasdaq?
KTTA.
Well, today's data is
ASEAN.
much,
Good
it's
stuff.
relevant, but it's not as relevant as Friday's.
INDP.
Friday's report. Today's kind of like the prelim numbers. They don't move the market as much as Friday's, for sure.
ACRB.
BABX.
Call me crazy, but I feel this year's going to be the most up and down chop we've had in a while due to random nature of the current.
BBAI.
Yeah, maybe. Where's Bitcoin at right now? Let's take a look. Snapchat went all the way up to 12 a share for Snap.
BBAI.
Bitcoin's still under 100K, but it's at 98.5K now. What do you guys think? Do you think this year's going to be
INDP.
bullish or bearish for the rest of the year? I think it's hard to tell, to be honest. We could speculate on it, but I'm not sure.
TSDD. BBAI.
KTTA.
TSDD.
I gotta start posting on Twitter more.
BVD.
BBAI.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna
ACB.
start doing this thing on Twitter where I do like a daily, on X, like a daily news update around 8 a.m. every single morning.
ACB.
8 a.m.
ACET.
daily news update. We might do another one in the evening too if we can help it. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, it's
BP.
@BeginnerTrades. @BeginnerTrades. I'll put the link up here if you want to give your boy a follow. Again, we're gonna start doing that, and I'm gonna start my first one now. So in fact, I'm gonna post my first one
KTTA.
now.
BTI.
KTTA. NVDL.
Yes, we're gonna post our first one right now.
PDYN.
KTTA.
PDYN.
ACET. KTTA. KTTA. KTTA.
Alright, we posted it. Alright, so again, if you want to give me a follow, here's our first daily news
RBNC,
release that we're going to
BBAI.
start covering at 8 a.m. every single
BBAI.
day. There it is. Give me a follow on
BTI.
X right there. Honestly, Meta's PE ratio isn't as bad as it could be, Harris, and I think that's why a lot of people are kind of
ACB.
shocked
KTTA.
that, you know, we could have a much, like, okay, so if we look at Meta's PE ratio,
BCSW. BBAI.
BBAI.
right, so I think
BRT.
Meta's PE ratio, even with it currently at 700 a share, its PE ratio is only 29 right now, 29.4.
INDP.
So Meta's PE ratio is honestly
ACET.
under 30. It's not bad. It's really not bad versus the price it's at. So Meta's producing. They're bringing it in.
PDYN. BST. MYNC. BST.
TC.
TC.
Let me edit this actually.
AZN.
There we go. Honestly, what happened, bro? It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be instrumentals,
NVDL.
bro. What
BP.
happened to instrumentals, dude?
SFHG.
BST.
Sorry, I had to turn the music off. I don't know why. Yeah, I had to change it to instrumentals. I don't
TC.
know why that guy just started rapping. on
SFHG.
there. My bad.
BST.
Yeah.
VLCN. TC. 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 BP.
TC.
Predictions from MicroStrategy earnings
SFHG.
tonight. I think it's interesting. I'm definitely watching it. All right, guys. Hey, we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes before non-farm employment data comes out. 4 minutes.
AZN.
I busted my lip in jiu-jitsu yesterday. Still kind of hurts a little bit. I accidentally headbutted.
Rio.
Or accidentally, like, I basically punched the guy's head with my face. And busted my lip accidentally. It was my fault completely.
TC. ACET. BBAI.
Bullish with volatility because, yeah, again, guys, listen, we got 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
SOXS.
Let's see what we get.
TSDD.
TC.
WISA. WISA. TSDD. Real. WISA. WISA.
ACET.
TSDD. Real. BBD.
Alright, again, met at 701.
WISA.
ADP. Yeah, ADP is just one of the data service providers. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Got almost 900 here already.
JD.
Early this morning, guys. What's up, team?
TLT. WISA. WISA. TSDD. BENF.
RCAT.
TLT.
All right, guys.
TLT.
Minute and a half. Hit the
SFHG.
live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream here. Major data. I mean,
ACET.
it's prelim non-farm payroll data. So this is called the ADP non-farm employment change. It comes out every Wednesday preceding non-farm payrolls on Friday at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time in about 1 minute. It's
SFHG.
relevant for payrolls and data that's coming out on Friday. I'm not sure how much it's going to move markets though, but it's still somewhat relevant. We'll see what happens. I'm expecting, or they're expecting 150, anywhere
Here.
between 147 and 150 is what I'm showing for expectations. Let's see what happens here. We got 45
SFHG.
seconds, guys,
KTTA.
45 seconds.
TC. TC.
Coming up in less than 2 minutes, the ADP non-farm
TSDD.
employment change for January,
Real.
expecting 148,000.
CPIX.
Yeah.
NYNZ.
There's ISM services, which are big. Hey, here we go, guys. We got 1 minute left. 1 minute.
RCAT. TLT.
All right, and here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the data right here. So we showed up at 183, much
RCAT.
higher than expected payroll data.
TLT.
183 for prelim non-farm data. 183
SXTP.
higher than expected. 150, 145 to 150 expected. We ended up showing 183K versus 148K
CPIX.
expected.
KTTA.
Market didn't really move though from this, to be honest. I wonder if the Dixie moved. Let's see.
KTTA.
Dollar index spiked up on this report. Look at this. The Dixie spiked. Oops.
RCAT.
Dollar index spikes. Let's take a look at the NQ. NQ dipped a little bit on this report. Look at the drop on the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ dropped. Dollar index
RCAT.
spiked. Gold dropped on this report.
And exclusive to
183 versus
Benzinga, ticker
150 expected roughly.
IINN,
Put the data
and
up on
Spirit
screen.
Technologies tells Benzinga the company integrates new oxygenation indicator into AI-powered HYLA blood sensor, says designated to enable the rapid detection of
data right
critical
here.
oxygen-related conditions without the
What do you
need
mean
for
by
minute blood
alpha?
draws.
Somebody said,
India,
IINN.
India,
explain the
IINN.
value of this
RCAT.
program if there's never any actionable
IINN.
alpha here.
IINN.
Do you mean
CPIX.
what's the value because I don't tell you what to do? Is that what you're asking me?
ADP non-farm
Because the
employment
answer to that
change,
is pretty simple. Look at the dollar index spike.
183,000 versus
the
the
CPIX.
1,000
gold
expected.
drop on
CPIX.
higher payroll numbers.
CPIX.
I think these higher
CPIX.
payroll numbers are going to panic
CPIX.
markets because
CPIX.
there's more inflation pressure.
CPIX.
PIX.
CPIX. CPIX.
CPIX.
Yeah, I mean the value of my channel is very
CPIX.
obvious, which is
PDYN.
we provide
IINN.
very up-to-date
CPIX.
economic reports.
CPIX.
We're most consistent in terms of that. We drop these economic
BRT.
reports as soon as they're out. We've got a bunch of different sources and we give you that data literally
PDYN.
as soon as it happens. We cover the market reaction.
IINN.
Like,
IINN.
People always like in the day trading world,
IINN.
people who are usually selling courses
VRT.
or
CPIX.
selling their own services, or people
CPIX.
that have been kind of
BBAI.
misled into thinking that they need to follow like some type of super expensive
BBAI.
mentor. Usually by people that are selling those mentorships are the ones that convince them that that's the truth. The reality of it is, I'm not even claiming to be a good trader, and my channel's not about that. My channel's about economics. I'm teaching new traders how to avoid the pitfalls of trading. That's certainly happening, as well as like we cover every major economic and finance event. So we're really like a market news and economic channel. Like I don't even claim to be a good trader, and I shouldn't have to. The people that are in anybody that's been in the market long enough is going to recognize that nobody freaking knows whether we're going to go up, down, or sideways. And the people who act like they know the most probably know the least, to be completely real. And so I hope that all makes sense. Like, don't get wrapped up into this thing where you got to pay thousands of dollars to some mentorship because some dude on the internet tells you need to. It's just not the truth at all.
IINN.
All right, guys.
IINN.
CGC, CGC, CGC,
Hey, thank you, B. Appreciate
CGC.
it. Man.
BTI, CGC.
Yeah, look, so this prelim payroll did affect the
CGC.
market, and sometimes it doesn't, right?
BBAI.
But like, look at gold dip, look at the Nasdaq dip, look at the dollar index. A lot of the time,
BBAI.
when inflation is a fear, we're gonna get this type of correlation, right? What kind of correlation do I mean by that? We're gonna have the
IINN,
Dixie shoot up.
AVGX.
Because a
IINN.
strong dollar
Coming up
means
in about 12
inflation means
minutes,
a strong dollar for the
the
most part.
imports and exports for December,
we're gonna
as well as
have
the trade
gold
balance.
And other markets
Later
move
today,
down
the
to a
FOMC
certain extent,
member
right? It's never
Barkan
perfect. It's
giving
never a
some
perfect
comments.
correlation, but a lot of the time, like the Nasdaq will
As
inverse
well
the
as
dollar index and vice
Some
versa.
other employment
So we'll see. Here's
data,
the
the
Nasdaq
ISM
right here on the right.
non-manufacturing employment for January,
Dollar index spiking up. Gold not really
the
liking
S&P
it. Again,
Global
higher
Services
payroll
PMI.
signals a stronger dollar and a stronger
Those are
economy
coming
than
up around
originally anticipated.
9:45 and
So
10.
that's why we're seeing these kind of reactions here. Let's pull top step up. Let's
Also
get ready.
expecting some crude inventory
BBAI, BBAI.
at 10:30.
OPTT.
All right, guys.
BST,
Sorry, I'm getting my Nasdaq chart up. Nasdaq did bounce back a little bit here, though, which is good, I guess. Nasdaq's been in the sideways range all morning, though. We got ISM services data coming out later as well. Let me put that up on screen, too. Expected at ISM
IINN.
services data drops at 10 a.m. It's expected at 54.2.
KTTA.
There we go. Look at the Nasdaq popping back up. Let's watch this support and resistance level up here as well.
Snap.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Yeah, you know, like, here's the problem. Like,
ACET.
usually,
CPIX.
so this is kind of what happens, and I've seen this a lot with a lot of different people I know, right? You've got some people
CPIX.
that are just genuinely like
CPIX.
misled into like having this like celebrity view
ACB.
of their quote unquote mentor, right? And y'all shouldn't even look at me like that. Like, I'm not a mentor. I don't know what the heck
SBSW.
I'm talking about. But like they end up like following them around. Are we lagging, guys? I'm kind of lagging on my end. I don't know why. It doesn't show I'm lagging,
KTTA.
so maybe it's just me.
VST,
CPIX.
VOSE,
No lag? Okay, good. Alright, cool. Yeah, but you got people that look at their mentors like they're freaking celebrities and whatever, and it just ends up like confirmation bias. I say this word
KTTA.
all the time, but it's such a powerful thing, man.
AVGL,
Like, people are so desperate to believe that they're
AVGL.
spending their time wisely following their mentor, that when somebody like me
AVGL.
comes along and I'm like, hey, look,
ACET.
like, you don't need to pay anybody to do that. Like, a lot of these guys are lying to you. That's such a
KTTA.
feared thing for them, right? Like that's such like a hard thing for them to look at objectively. Like, hey, am I wasting my time here, right? That's such a difficult thing for them to look at objectively.
CTAS.
That a lot of the time, instead of being able to be
AVGO.
introspective and be like, yo, maybe I'm spending too much money on mentors, maybe I'm doing this. Instead, they just look at me and they just kind of get
AVGO.
mad at the messenger,
AVGO.
right? And they're like,
AVGX.
oh, and they just look at John and say, you don't provide anything, you don't do anything, you don't give out stock picks, you know?
AVGO. AVGX.
You don't sell courses, you don't even claim to be a good trader, right? If anything, they're helping
USAU.
because like those are all things that I'm very
ACET.
proud of. I don't sell a course. I don't claim to even be good. I'm giving you guys the real,
AVGX,
like the
SMSI.
real truth of it, not some
KTTA.
fabricated embellishment. And so, yeah, I appreciate the love. Thanks so much.
KTTA.
Oh, we took the trash out today, bro. We definitely took the trash out. All right, so look, we went all the way up to this level, kind of broke highs on the NASDAQ and came right back down. Honestly, we're super choppy right now. And maybe the market's waiting for ISM services. That's possible, too. If anything, if you guys can learn anything from my channel, right? Like, people act like you
AVGO.
don't learn anything here. I think people learn here more than anywhere else.
AVGO.
Y'all know a
AVGX.
lot of you guys have learned about economics right here. Y'all have learned how the stuff works. Y'all have learned what to pay attention to. Y'all have learned what like rates and rate
AVGX.
decisions and the Federal Reserve and all that stuff means. Y'all have learned about earnings and metrics and all this different
KTTA.
stuff. And so y'all have absolutely, a
MSOS.
lot of y'all at least, have
AVGO.
absolutely learned a
KTTA.
lot more information
KTTA.
than just kind of like basic generic day trading strategies that everybody and their grandmother are teaching out here
KTTA.
on YouTube. And so, yeah, I think people find value here for that
KTTA.
specific reason.
AVGO. AVGO.
IINN.
Even like the dollar index,
LITM.
right? The dollar index is starting to
AVGX.
pull back.
AVGO.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
AVGO.
I only found 2 people not selling courses that have knowledge. You are one of them. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, C. Appreciate it. Had that happen yesterday when this dude.
KVAC. AVGX.
He might have been trying to
KTTA.
scam you.
SES.
You know how they go, man. They basically like run into you, hope you don't have cameras, and then act like it was your fault. Some people are just programmed to where if they run into you, they're never gonna admit fault, right? Like they're just terrible people, and they're always gonna just try to blame you for it. You know. Oh, I have no idea what I'm talking about, cryo.
WBD.
Yeah, I think the market's waiting for ISM services.
ACB.
ABNB.
I'm just glad your channel is politically neutral. Yeah, I mean, for the most part. I mean, I like different policies and different things. Like, I go by policy, right?
KTTA.
I dislike all politicians. And so, I just kind of avoid the whole realm.
ACB.
All right, so Chevron says they're licensed to operate in Venezuela unchanged in its contact with the current administration about Venezuela. U.S. sanctions on Mexico and Canada could boost their oil in Venezuela.
ACB.
All right, so the U.S.
OPTT.
Postal Service is going to continue
ACB.
accepting China and Hong Kong packages February 5th, according to Bloomberg, which is
VRT.
today. And again, Fed's Barkin said earlier he doesn't know what specific tariffs are
AVGX.
coming, according to Bloomberg.
ACET.
VRT. AVGO.
You should at least offer mentorship or memberships. I do, bro. You can become a
SFHG.
member, dude. You got to subscribe first,
AVGO.
usually.
VRT.
So a lot of the people that are saying, "Hey, I can't," join a
WDAY.
membership is like they just
WDAY.
haven't subscribed. The irony.
AVGX.
Like, look, if you click this join button right here,
VRT.
guys,
VRT. VRT.
like if you hit this join button right here,
AVL.
AVGO.
you can become a member. I mean, you don't get anything extra for it. It's just a way to help support the channel. And you get these coveted beardless John emojis.
AVGO.
You get
AVGO.
Carol.
AVGO.
You get Rosie, the German
AVGO.
Shepherd.
Watch the spread.
This
CGC.
channel is pure gold. Hey, thanks so much, man. World Pets guy. Thanks so much.
ACB.
AVL. CELT.
Can you explain ADP national employment
ACB.
like I am a toddler, please? Yes.
AVL.
So imagine,
AVGO.
AVGO.
imagine
AVGO.
non-farm
CPI.
AVGO.
payrolls
AVGO.
is a big lion
NBIS.
that
C-
influences
G.
the pack of finance.
KTTA.
AVGS.
All right.
AVGO.
This Friday we
AVGO.
have non-farm payroll data coming out.
AVGO.
It's going to move markets. The market
Yeah.
fears inflation. If we have higher payroll numbers, the
KTTA.
market could panic and we might see big bearish action from higher payroll numbers.
AVGX. AVGX. VST.
ACB.
I don't know why Christmas music is playing, guys, but we'll figure it out after I'm done with this. Look at the
ACB.
market pop up. All right, so imagine the big
ACB.
lion is
ACB.
non-farm payrolls this
ACB.
Friday. Right?
NVDA.
Everybody's going to be watching
ACB.
it. We'll have thousands of people
ACB.
here tuning in.
NVDA.
The market fears
NVDA.
inflation right now.
ACB.
And so if payroll
NVDA.
numbers are
ACB.
stronger than expected, signaling a stronger economy, i.e. potentially more inflation problems, because the stronger the economy is, the more potential inflation problems are there.
ACB.
Right?
Zone.
That's this
ACB.
Friday, non-farm
Zone.
payrolls numbers. Big report, big
ACB.
catalyst. Now imagine that
ACB.
big lion had a
ACB.
little baby son
ACB.
ACB.
had much less influence over the pack of lions in finance.
NVDU.
That's what
VST.
the ADP non-farm
VST.
employment change data is. It's a little bit early data, prelim data. It's definitely not
CGC.
as influential, but it can.
CGC.
I'm not going to say it will, but it can give a gauge
CGC.
on what we might see on Friday's payroll report. So it's a little bit of it's a tiny little baby lion compared to the big lion of non-farm payroll data, right? And again, today
NVDL.
we had a stronger payroll
TLR1.
report than expected.
NVDL.
The payroll numbers came in at 183 versus
NVDA.
150, stronger than expected.
NVDU.
Uh,
NVDA.
And so,
NVDA.
again, I think
TLR1.
right now in the current economy,
NVDL.
they're going to consider
ACB.
that worse because
ACB.
it means a stronger
TLR1.
economy and potentially more inflation. But the Nasdaq's pushing up. The dollar index did fall from this report.
ACB.
Or did go up from this report at 815. Look, here's the Dixie, the dollar index. That's where the report dropped, and it went up afterwards. It's now pulling back though, and the Nasdaq dropped originally when this report came out, but it's pushing up as well. I think the market's kind of down already today because of earnings over the last 24 hours.
TLR1.
But I think that's what it is. I think that's what's going on. So I hope all that makes sense. That's the best I can do.
KTTA.
NVDA.
Well,
SNDL.
it's not
BBAI.
that. Hold on.
ACB.
It's not that ADP is completely different payroll numbers. One includes private and government numbers. Fridays
NBIS.
includes both private payrolls,
SFHG.
which is like
Zone.
regular businesses, and government payroll numbers. Where versus today, it's just private. It's just regular businesses. And so there's some small
KTTA.
differences there. One is just
VST.
more heavily watched.
NYNZ.
SFHG.
and more influential.
NYNZ.
Which is Fridays. Fridays.
VST.
All right, guys, so we got a little confirmation in this level here.
INTC.
Again, we got ISM services data coming out today. Big
ACB.
report, big data release.
Seen a
ACB.
report from CNBC that the USPS says it
ACB.
will resume accepting inbound packages from China and Hong Kong starting tomorrow.
ACB.
NYNZ.
ACB.
Market fears the lion, 100%. Yeah, Simba can't move markets. Today was Simba's time to shine.
CONL.
Fridays is
TLTL.
Mufasa's.
NYNZ.
Trade balance
NVDA.
is
NVDA.
ACB.
TLT.
negative 98.4 billion versus
Matthew was
the
up here.
negative 96.5 billion
VTGN.
estimate.
For information.
AC
Still waiting on
NVDA.
imports and
NVDA.
exports.
100%, man. I appreciate
ACB.
it. Thank you, sir. Hey, thank you, R.
BVAI. Gift.
Agree the most genuine trading channel with no BS. Hey, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
AVGX. AVGX.
ACB.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch politics for sure. Like, it's not like I'm not paying attention. I almost streamed
AVGX.
the inauguration, to be honest, but I
TLRY.
decided against it because it's going to be, like,
A correction
It's
on
gonna be really hard for me
CNBC. They will resume
to, like,
today
talk about it because I am politically
for the
neutral, and I feel like
packages
streaming
from
that would just have both sides
China
mad
and
at
Hong
me
Kong.
simultaneously if I stream that. Again, I've told people this before, but like
AVGX,
the reality is,
AVGO,
like both sides would probably dislike me if I talked about my political
AVGX,
views. You know?
AVL,
They're very neutral. Like I believe people should be able to do whatever they want to do as long as it's not hurting anybody else.
AVGO, AVGX,
But I'm very consistent with that. Like, you know, both sides say a similar thing, but you know,
NVDA,
I'm not gonna get it.
NVDL,
BTGN,
NVDL,
OGI,
Coil,
BTGN,
Hey John, what's the situation with oil? What was yesterday's news? Yesterday's news was China and their retaliatory
NVIS,
tariffs on the U.S. Based around oil, 15% on energy, which is oil. And so
NYNZ,
announcement of tariffs on oil from a big consumer of oil like China.
KTTA,
It's yeah. That's what made
ACB,
oil kind of volatile yesterday.
SWVL Swivel naming Ahmed Misbah as CFO. Sandy Whiskey.
I'm not necessarily a
Lima,
libertarian. I disagree
SWVL.
with them in a lot of ways too, to be honest. Like I said, again, I'm neutral, guys. I really am.
ACET,
INTC, INTC, Mara,
More fun to have John talk about jujitsu.
IMAX,
And people complain
IMAX
about that. You realize people on the internet, they just
reporting
complain.
a gross of
KTTA,
$53
But I'm
million
getting my blue
at the
belt,
box
guys, in a
office
couple
during
days. I'm getting it.
Chinese New Year period. That's India Mike Alpha X-ray IMAX.
Mara,
Snap,
Mara,
Yeah, people just start rooting for their party like it's their football team, and like,
VST,
I don't know, man. I think
RKLB, TMF,
I used to say this all the time, and I think I'm never mind. I'm not gonna
CRDL.
say it. It's okay. I'm gonna just move on. Obi-Wan,
ACB,
the GOAT.
ACB.
VST,
Alright, guys.
VST,
Yeah,
BTGN,
I'm just not getting wrapped up in it. I don't, you know, it's too much.
BTGN,
Well, businesses are the ones that do it, Larry. He says it sucks that prosperity causes inflation. Need to change that paradigm. Yeah, but it's
BTGN.
business. It's human nature. You know, like if you're selling bubble gum, is the example. I always say you're selling soda instead of bubble gum,
BTGN.
I'll say you're selling soda for $1 a pop, right? Not pop like a Yankee way of saying soda. I'm from the South. Okay, I don't say pop. Anyways, back to the point. Say you're selling soda
LAES,
at $1 a piece, and every time you put your soda out there, you got
KTTA.
100 sodas. Say you sell out of all
ACB.
100 by the end of the day. What are you gonna do? Right? Well, you might bump that price up to $1.25 a
KTTA.
piece, maybe $1.50 a piece. If you sell out of those by the end of the day, you'll bump the
Snap.
price up to $1.75,
NYT,
$2,
the New York
and you're gonna
Times
keep doing that.
CEO
until you
speaking
get a
on their
good
conference
balance of
call.
sales versus
BTGN.
price,
Says
right?
company to
To
have pipeline of
maximize
new
price.
content shows, features,
That's
games,
human
and
nature.
other
That's
enhancements
business.
this year.
I can't really knock it.
Snap.
because
Says
that's
there
why
is, quote,
inflation
real
increases
demand
over
for
time, and that's
company's
why
lifestyle
prices go
product.
Up, like
New York
ACB,
Times
pretty consistently
CEO
over time is because
says
of that
company has,
specific
quote, big
nuance of business.
opportunity, end quote,
You can't really
with
stop it.
the athletic to build an
You know,
audience.
the only way to really, like, and I
Nancy,
say this all the time, the only way to really
Tango,
combat
NYT
that
on their
is to
conference
invest.
call.
You know, people, you got some people that just sit on cash long term, and I get it. They're fearful of everything. But if you don't invest in something, and again, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. I do trade off stream sometimes and lose off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. I don't
ACV.
guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose.
CGC,
Don't copy me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. With that said and out the way, though, if you don't
KTTA,
invest in something,
KTTA,
you're going to lose so much to inflation over time. I always give you guys the same
KTTA.
formula because it's an important formula for you guys to understand. But if you have $100,000 saved, prices are going to rise an average of about 2.5%, depending on the year. You're going to rise about 2.5% in the year. So,
KTTA,
really, I'm sorry, I did this the opposite way. It should be 100,000
KTTA,
times
KTTA,
0.975 to take away 2.5% on the year is really what it should be.
CPIX.
So over like a 30-year period, your 100K in terms of buying power is going to be like, say,
OPTT.
100K in buying power today. In 30 years, it's only going to be
VTGN,
Hold on. I missed a couple clicks. I'm gonna restart it.
CGC,
Let me go slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Your 100K in 30 years is only going to be worth about
OPTT.
$46,000, $47,000. So it's going to erode from inflation over time.
CGC,
Good day, guys. Love you, buddy. Love you guys. Hey.
VTI.
LAES,
Gift. VTI.
NVBE,
NVB.
Big Spread, CPIX,
MSTR. MSTX. NVB.
NVBE,
NVB. NVB. NVB.
NVBE.
Hey guys, how you guys doing today? But yeah, if inflation erodes your buying power over time. All right, dude, I love you, man. Have a good day, buddy.
OPTT,
And so the overarching point I'm trying to make is that if you don't invest in something, you are going to lose money over time.
NVB.
You can buy
NVB.
bonds, right? Again, you can buy bonds, and so you
MSTX.
got that 100K.
VTI.
Bonds are going to pay you what right now? What's 10-year
MSTR.
yields right now? Let me see. Treasury yields currently 4.4.5%, basically 4.5%. We'll call it 4.5%.
GFS Global Foundries
So if you have
names
100K
Tim Breen as
and you buy
CEO.
10-year Treasury bonds right
Called
now. Every
Foxtrot
year they're going to pay you about
GFS.
4.5% interest. So every year they're going to pay you about
CPIX.
4.5K
MSTR.
in this
CPIX.
over time, right? So
NVBE.
4.5K over a 10-year period. I'm sorry.
MSTR.
Over a
KTTA,
10-year period is going to be about $45,000 that you're going to earn in interest
KTTA.
over the life of a 10-year Treasury bond, right? That'll curb some of the
ACB.
volatility and that will hedge against inflation over time. You know, if you want to, I would say it's probably better to do like, and the yield curve is inverted right now
ACB.
too, I think. So like short-term bonds in some areas are paying more than long-term bonds,
MSTX.
and so you could compound it a little bit easier, meaning like
ACB,
you can earn your interest, put it back into more bonds, earn your interest, put it back in, and earn a little bit more, hedge a little bit more against inflation. But the S&P 500, the NASDAQ give you 10, 20, 30% a year on
NVDA.
average over the last few years.
NVDL.
And so there's a lot of ways to hedge against inflation.
NVDA.
Gold, real estate, you know, you just got to
CONL.
figure something out. Figure out what you like, what you think is the
NVDU.
best.
NVDL.
Uber's forward guidance in terms of their
NVDA.
signups were low.
NVDL.
Somebody's asking why
NVDL.
Uber's down, even though they had good EPS and revenue, is because their signups. I can't remember what the metric
MSTR.
specifically was, but it's something
NVDL.
like their
NVDU.
bookings were projected to be down much more than expected for Uber, and that's why Uber's down. So basically,
Cool.
their forward guidance and bookings were lower than expected into the future. So that's essentially what happened.
Coin. NVDU. DKNG.
Yeah, we had ADP non-farm
TMF.
employment data come in at 183 versus 150 expected.
OPTT. MSTR.
Yeah, so again,
CGC,
U.S. imports and exports are out.
WILC.
Exports 266.5 billion. Imports
MSTX.
364.9 billion.
okay,
ACB.
Again, we got pretty big services PMI data coming out today. Some pretty big services
MSTX.
PMI data coming out. Be ready. Reinvented,
ACB.
reinvested is what I said. Pop.
CGC.
Look, I got
ACB.
family in
VTI.
Canada.
ACB.
They can say everything's pop.
CGC,
You guys going to the
ACB.
store to get some pop.
ACB,
You know, that's them. Good people though, good people. All right.
ACB,
GR.
ACB,
Gold at 2880s. Again, yields are down. Honestly, this is good, right? Yields follow interest
Right.
rates. And so if you want low interest rates,
Clearage.
you want low yields, right? Because the yields and interest rates have a positive correlation. As interest rates go down, yields go down with it. As interest rates go up, if the Fed's going to be much more hawkish, yields spike, right? So
NVDL.
yields going down is
Clearage.
probably a good thing if you want low
NVDL.
interest rates.
CGC,
NVDA, AVGO,
ACB.
Riot, AVGX, CGC,
SNDL.
Riot,
ACB.
OPTT, NVDU,
KTTA.
All right, guys.
NVDU, AVL,
Snap.
Yeah, so I mean, if that happened, Peter, it would have like big financial and geopolitical consequences.
ACET.
The
BTI,
immediate impact on bond prices and yields would be that, like, when a large amount of them are sold at
NVDU.
once, bond prices would go
Right.
down, causing yields to spike since bond prices and yields move inversely.
YCBD.
Higher yields means the U.S. government would have to offer more attractive
Right.
rates to new buyers, which would
BBAI.
increase borrowing
BBAI.
costs here in the U.S. Interest rates would surge up. Treasury yields set the benchmark for interest rates on everything from mortgages to corporate loans and, home equity lines of credit, adjustable rates. If yields spike,
YCBD.
borrowing costs for businesses, homeowners, and consumers would go up, slowing economic growth. It would signal a lack of confidence in the U.S. economy. Dollar would weaken. A lot of stuff would happen. Yeah, but that's a very
YCBD.
low probability thing. It's very unlikely that they're gonna. It's very unlikely that they're gonna do that. To be honest.
SNDL,
SNDL.
Oh, the U.S. trade balance came out at 8:30.
CPIX.
What did the trade balance show? I didn't even cover that one. My bad, chat. The trade balance showed 0.71. Whoa, way lower. Trade balance is the ratio
SGOL. CGC.
of imports versus exports.
ACB.
So fewer goods and services were exported than imported.
ACB.
So this was a little bit weaker thing, I think, for manufacturing at least. We do a
YCBD,
quick one-on-one in bonds.
YCBD.
Yields. What are they? How they work for the government? So
KTTA.
bonds are loaning the U.S. government money. Treasury bonds specifically are loaning the U.S. government money,
CGC.
and they pay you a specific interest rate or yield to do so. Right. So let's just make it really, really simple. I could loan the U.S. government $1,000
RDW.
by buying $1,000 worth of Treasury bonds right now.
SFHG.
Let me see what the 1 year.
SXTP.
Right now, the 1 year Treasury yield is at about 4%,
OPTT,
4.2% roughly for 1 year Treasury yield. And so, if I loan the U.S. government
ACET.
$1,000, let's just say $100 to make it really easy. If I loan the U.S. government $100, they're going to pay me
TLT.
$4.20 a year for that year. All right, I'm going to make $4.20 by loaning the U.S. government 100 in
OPTT.
Treasury bonds. Right, and that might not
OPTT.
seem like much, but when you add some bigger zeros to this, right? Like if I
OPTT.
loan them 100K,
SES.
I'm going to make 4.2 thousand a year, right? If I loan them $1 million, then I'm going to make
TLT,
wait.
TLT,
If I loan them $1 million, hold on. I know the number, but I'm showing you how to do
OPTT.
it. Oh, dude, what is it? What to do? If I loan them $1 million, then I'm going to make
OPTT,
$42,000
ACB.
in a year, right? So
ACB.
it compounds. And, if you've got some big money and you're just sitting on cash,
TLT.
this is
ACB.
a useful thing, right? But the other nuances of
ACB.
all this stuff is that it does
ACB.
have, like, yields
ACB.
have a positive correlation with interest rates, like mortgage rates, home equity lines of credit,
CGC.
adjustable rate loans,
OPTT.
all that good stuff, right? And those
OPTT.
influence the economy. The lower the interest rates are, the stronger the economy is generally, right? And the Fed will actually control interest rates in the same way as a means of saving us from a weak economy. So if the economy
CCL.
is weak and we're looking towards where GDP is slowing, payrolls are super low, unemployment's high, You know what I mean?
SWK, Stanley
then
Black
the
and
Federal
Decker
Reserve is gonna be what's
executive
called dovish, which means they want
KTTA
low interest
says
rates.
if
They're
10% China
bring
tariffs remain,
rates
see
down.
annualized unmitigated hit
And
of,
again, by
of
bringing
around
rates down,
ACET.
60 or
Yields are gonna
correction,
go down
90
with
to
it,
$100 million.
right?
That on their conference call.
and
Sandy
eventually it'll
Whiskey,
trickle into all
Kilo
the other
SWK.
all the other loans and interest rates that we see, like finance, like car loans, like adjustable rate loans, home equity lines of
CGC.
credit, all that good stuff. So it's all influenced by each other, right? And with that in mind, like bond
KTTA.
prices move inversely to interest
KTTA.
rates. So like as interest rates
ACB.
spike with a
ACB.
hawkish Fed,
ACB.
bond prices are going to go down and yields
ACB.
are going to go up. And
ACB.
vice versa, if interest rates go down with a
10.
dovish Fed, like a Fed that's trying to prevent us from economic weakness
CGC.
and stimulate the
10.
economy, bond prices are going to go up and yields.
Advancing
are
a
gonna
market
drop.
update, S&P
Or no,
futures down
yeah,
20.25,
that's right,
the
bond prices are gonna go
Dow
up,
futures down
yields are gonna
62, NASDAQ
Hope all that makes sense.
down
It's super nuanced.
141,
ACB.
crude is
Slow
down
correlation
79
there
cents
with
at
it.
$71.92.
ACB.
Natural gas is down 6 cents
Zone.
ACB.
at $3.19. Gold is up 540 at 28.8120. Bitcoin futures down 120 at 99,065.
If you do a
ACRV.
10-year, yeah, so you're loading the U.S. government money for 10 years. So what will happen, say you buy a
TLR
10-year
what?
treasury bond.
10.
There's better ways to do it, in my opinion, but like we'll talk about that too. Say you
KTTA.
buy a 10-year treasury bond. They're going to give you a specific deal. Right now it's about 4.5%. So you're going to make about 4.5% a year, and they're going to deposit.
ACRV.
Say it's
TLR
100K.
what?
You're going to
APLD.
loan the U.S.
APLD.
government 100K every year, maybe twice a
TLR
year.
what?
They're going to give you 4.5% interest payments. So,
APLD.
they're going to give you $4,500 a year if you loan them 100K, and then at the end of that 10-year
Zone.
period, you're going to get your 100K back.
KTTA.
Right? In
APLD.
my opinion, I'm not a big fan of this. This is very slow growth relative to almost anything,
10.
any other investment. But bonds are
OPTT.
what people use to hedge against economic and financial uncertainty.
10.
So like when the
OPTT.
markets are volatile, when people
10.
are expecting crashes and corrections,
CPIX.
people are
10.
fearful of conventional, more higher yielding assets like the stock market. They're gonna gravitate towards low risk assets like bonds, which are guaranteed. Like it's guaranteed by the U.S. government. That yield is guaranteed by the U.S. government. And again, sometimes I'll hear people say, usually it's like big crash predictors. They're like, "Oh, what happens if the government fails?" If the
YCBD.
government fails, you got a lot
YCBD.
bigger problems than your bond payments not paying out, sir. It's going to be
OPTT.
insignificant in that whole thing. Like money is not going to be,
MBIS.
ACB.
You know, it's also funny where you hear people say like if
EVES.
stuff ever hits the fan, people act like gold is going to be some treasured asset. It's like, oh yeah,
BTDR.
shiny rocks. Let me
Ron.
trade food and medicine for a shiny rock. Gold's going to be worthless too. Anyways,
MSOS.
MBIS.
we got ISM Services PMI data coming out at 10
RDW.
a.m. in about an hour. We'll put a timer up for this. It's a big one. This is a big one too. Services is really important. So yeah, we got an hour. in.
YCBD. YCBD.
Yeah. Yeah, so this timer is actually pretty accurate. pretty close.
YCBD.
ACB.
TTDR.
SXTP.
I don't know where to put this though. I guess I'll stick it right here.
KTTA.
YCBD.
ACET.
RIS.
Zone.
YCBD.
SPXS. KTTA. MVIS.
Yeah, the craziest people, to
MBIS.
be honest, to me, are people who sit on cash long term and don't do
CLSK.
anything with it.
MVIS.
Right?
YCBD.
Like, again, the S&P will give you. I'll give you guys the options that
MBIS.
you have. Really, you got bonds. Again, bonds. Even if you include compounding with bonds, right? Like say, like you buy yearly bonds, you take that money, you add it to the net amount,
EVES.
and then you get that percentage afterwards. You compound it, right? Even if you compound 4.2% right now, so
Mara.
100K
KTTA.
times
MRVL.
1.42.
CONL.
SXTP.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll make about 50K in 10 years, right? 20 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
KTTA.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll make
CUCL.
about 127,000 over a 20-year period, so forth and so on, right? So this is the compounding effect of bonds. But when you like compare it to like the S&P 500's compound effect, where you're earning
BTG.
roughly 10% a year on the
Zone.
S&P 500, you'll see how much it slumps in comparison, right? So like if you have 100K, 10-year period, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10 years, you're going to earn about 160
SXTP.
grand compound effect on average, right? We could always now crashes,
TLRY.
timing affect all of this. So this is certainly not guaranteed, and that's why
KTTA.
people gravitate towards bonds.
KTTA.
Is this is the
CPIX.
averages, but it's definitely not guaranteed.
Mara.
Anything could happen. You could have a
Mara.
black swan crash correction event, and if you're unlucky in terms of timing,
Mara.
it's even worse, right? But over a 20-year
Mara.
period, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
FBL.
Over a 20-year period, you're going to about 7x in 20 years, compounding into the S&P
Mara.
500, the Nasdaq,
Riot.
Dow, the Russell. The nature of it is that long-term.
SKYQ, RB Residential, and
The
Sky
more you zoom
Quarry
out, the
combine
safer it
forces
is,
with letter
right?
of
So, like, the
intent
longer
to
you
integrate
hold
advanced
the
sustainability
Nasdaq
SKYQ.
executive
SXTP.
services that
But I always tell
SKYQ.
people, like, if you've got
SKYQ,
time
Sandy Quebec
until
Yankee.
you retire. And again,
Sandy
not an
Kilo
investment
Yankee,
professional. I'm not
Quebec,
liable if you lose. Always make your own
SKYQ,
assessment. Trade
SKYQ.
responsibly. I have no freaking idea what I'm
ACB.
talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Nobody can time the market perfectly. Anything could freaking happen. I'm not an investment
SKYQ,
professional. I'm not liable. If you lose,
CLSK.
understand CFTC 4.41.
SKYQ.
Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Now, with all that said and out the way, if
GSK.
you got time on your hands,
QBTS.
like 10, 20, 30 years, that's the time to
SKYQ.
invest in higher yielding assets like the S&P, the Nasdaq, stuff like that. If you are about to retire
SKYQ.
imminently,
SXTP. ACB.
it's a risky thing.
Mara.
It's a risky thing, and you probably want to go with more low-risk assets. But
SKYQ
again, not an
popping to
investment professional. This is
$1.28.
kind of how I look at it. I might
News,
be wildly
NVDL.
wrong.
AZN. Zone.
APLD. SES. KTTA. CLSK. KTTA.
All right, guys.
CGC. KTTA.
Zone.
Yeah. Sam, I'm not sure who that is. Yeah, I don't know.
ACHL.
CIFR.
But
NBDU. SIDU. NBDA. NBDL. NBDA.
no, I don't have any meet Kevin shade today. I can see why the government. Yeah.
Disney CEO Iger says a new Sports Center daily show coming to Disney Plus is intended to
I
drive
trade pretty
engagement
small,
that
Nick,
on their
so
investor
I'm not-
call.
like, I'm still kind of
That's
testing my
DIS.
stuff right now. Like, to be honest, I could get a payout pretty easily if I wanted to spend like a lot of money doing it. But I'm trading small, and
KTTA.
I'm just kind of building systems and strategies.
SNDL.
So I'm not really in a period of time right now where I can go
KTAN.
super big and buy a bunch, because I think that's kind of what you got to do too.
CRML.
Who did you look up to when you started
KTTA.
trading?
CSDD.
To be honest, man, like
ACET.
when I first got started trading, I watched a lot of penny stock gurus, and I regret it now because they were just total full of crap. And again, guys, like I said,
CGC.
I'm mostly an economist, swing trader. I think I'm best at like swing trading and investing than anything else. Day trading is cool, but it's very difficult.
JCI.
Yeah, but is he a YouTuber as well, Sam?
ACB.
AZN.
Apple dropped overnight.
KTTA.
There was a
Zone.
catalyst. I can't remember what it was exactly.
Zone.
KTTA.
So the trades that I made the most in last year were Target, TGT. I bought Target when it was at like 107. Rode Target all the way to
TSDD.
like I can't remember where I sold Target, but I sold it up there. I made money on Disney last year. I'm pretty sure. I made a lot of money on Google last year. I made a lot of money on. I held Nvidia and I made money on Nvidia I think as well over the last few years, but I'll have to go back and check that one. I made a lot of money on ARM. You know, pretty sure I made some on Meta, but I have to go back and check. So, yeah.
TSDD.
Shares of Disney off the lows now at 112.09.
TSDD.
Fed's Barkin says not
AZN.
hearing CEOs talk about recession.
Yeah, I mean, Target is such an easy buy, man. Like, Target makes tons of money. They're overly hated for some reason, but they're just a strong company, man.
APLD.
And people, like, get,
ACB.
you know.
AZN.
And so when it dipped down here in 120,
CGC.
I think the original buy
CPIX.
Barkin said baseline economy is
CPIX.
very
I'm pretty
healthy.
sure I bought Target here. Because I remember isolating it, and I remember I would tell people about this trade, and so many people would talk smack and make fun of me for it. And then it got silent real quick. Then it got silent real quick. But I think that's like a really good look at like how to make money swing trading and investing. Like, ignore everybody else. They're too biased, too emotional about things. You got to look at things objectively. And
ACET.
Barkin said expect inflation to keep coming down.
Value.
CPIX.
Barkin said CEOs say there's so much policy uncertainty.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I always got to be safe, Sam. It's all good, bro.
AZN. TSLS. Son.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to promote anybody else.
CIFR.
Sorry, dude. I know one thing. He can't beat Steve.
Son.
That's all I know.
Town.
BBAI. ACB. Temp.
Yeah, I can't remember why Apple dropped. There's a catalyst for it. I just can't remember what it was.
Town. APLD.
Yeah, I remember Easy
ACB.
Mike. I got you. I remember Easy Mike. He was cool.
APLD. APLD.
Again, being on YouTube is such a weird thing, man. It really is strange.
CONL.
OPTT.
Most people are supportive, but you got some people that just get weird, and like, it's a tough environment, to be honest, right? Like, I made the mistake a long time ago of telling somebody, like, hey, YouTube's stressful, you know, and that person ended up, yeah, I'm not gonna go into it, but people are freaking weird.
KTTA.
And so,
SFHG.
it's a weird dynamic, it really is. And so, yeah, I trade off stream. I do a bunch of stuff off stream. Y'all aren't going to see all of it because it's just a weird dynamic. I try to teach you guys stuff that I genuinely use and, like, my logic for a lot of different stuff, but I can't guarantee anything. I have no freaking idea what's going to happen. And I think anybody with experience is going to mirror that. Because they're gonna understand nobody knows. It's, again, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Generally, the people that are the most confident in something absolutely definitively working are the most new traders, because people have been around the block long enough to recognize variance in a much more profound way than people who just started, right? People who just started, they think that you absolutely know if something's going to do this or that short term. Experienced people know you have no freaking idea what's going to happen. You know, there might be an edge there, but variance is real, and it could be the best setup ever and still go against you.
CGC.
Sir.
ACET.
IFA.
ACB. ACB.
Yeah, I'm not really going to go too deep into it. Nick, you know, like I said, somebody talked about Meet Kevin earlier. I don't dislike Meet Kevin. I don't have anything against him, to be honest. I just don't really watch him that much because I'm doing my own thing. Obviously, he's got a much bigger channel than me, and that's okay. Like, I'm not. It's not like I'm not one of those people that hates everybody that's a competitor to mine. You know, Especially not the ones that are like much
MRVL,
bigger than me. I don't really
Tim.
care either way.
EDBL, edible
Y'all
garden,
do y'all's thing. I'm not
announcing
really,
favorable preliminary results
I'm not
from
going to talk
USDA
smack about
and
anybody,
EPA
really. Not
supported
unless they, you know,
RICIA nano
Town.
bubble
Get weird
demonstration
words.
project that
Town.
Echo Delta Bravo Lima
It's a
shares
radical.
popping on that. EDBL.
KTTA.
MRVL.
yeah, Dunning-Kruger effect is real. Nick, for sure.
GCTK.
KTTA.
All right, guys. So there's 9 a.m. There's 9 a.m. We got about 28 minutes left.
KTTA.
28 minutes.
ORCL.
Dis. Big spread.
This channel's got flavor, and we
CLOV.
appreciate it. Flavor Flav for the stock market, guys. Young people might not even know who
Dis.
Flavor Flav is.
Big spread.
MKDW.
Oh yeah, sales
MKDW.
overseas might be a little, yeah. Oh, it's probably the tariffs, right? It's probably the tariff news for Apple, right? They sell a lot of products overseas
JCI.
in that regard. The tariffs are going to negatively impact them more than maybe some other companies do. I'm not really a big fan of level 2, to be honest.
BBAI.
Here. I think, and again, maybe there's stuff that I know this is going to be a controversial take,
KTTA.
YCBD.
but I'm not a big fan of the level 2. The level 2 is so manipulated
Dis.
that people
spread.
acting like they can see some type of super special edge from the level 2. I feel like they're just trying to look deep and
Dis.
knowledgeable.
Big spread.
Right? They're just trying to look deep and knowledgeable. And maybe I'm wrong.
Dis.
I don't freaking know.
Big spread.
Again, I don't ever use the
CLNT,
level 2.
QBTS.
But like people saying, "Oh, I see these walls build up on the level
NBCT,
2,
New
and then I see
Vector's
some breaks."
pharma
Like,
prices
look, man,
offering up 2.7
big
million
money can
shares
throw as many
at
phantom orders on the
$5
level
per
2
share.
and then
November
remove
Victor
the
Charlie
orders and try to
Tango.
manipulate it. I like the
AZN.
time and sales more because at least it's actually confirmed
IONQ.
orders, right? But like I see all this different content on the level 2, and I can't get behind it. It seems too random to me.
IONQ.
And again, I understand this is going to be a controversial take, and I get it. But it's just me in my own style. I'm not going to lie about it to try to look deep. You know, like, ooh, I'm reading the level 2 and I see all these different things. And then people are
JCI.
going to be like, man, John's a wizard. Looking at him. Look at the level 2. It's
ATXG.
moving. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
SOPA.
SXTP. QBTS.
EDBL,
I
penny
think maybe
stock,
you get some
spiking on that
depth markets
press
and
release,
stuff like
up
like
about
book
9
map
cents
looks
now
useful.
at 29 cents.
If they can
EDBL.
take the level 2 data and visualize it for me, but just the level 2 on its own. It's too easy to
SFHG.
get faked out and manipulated in trading, and I think the level 2 for me and my own type of
ACET.
personality would just make it worse.
KNW, no
So-
labs, files appeal to NYSE
JGS.
commencement of proceedings
SOSG.
to delist. That's Kilo November Whiskey.
Yeah, to me it's
Again.
unnecessary noise, absolutely.
AZN.
Yeah, I did 3.
JCI.
OGEN, Orogenics
Dis.
popping to the highs on
Big
heavy
spread.
volume. Oscar Golf Echo November.
Dis. Big spread. Dis. Big spread.
Did he day trade? I don't know.
NVDA. JCI. NVDL.
Well, it's definitely
NVDA.
some cancels.
MYNZ.
NVDA.
All right, guys. Hey, we got 25 minutes. 25 minutes.
KTTA.
NVDL. NVDL.
Honestly, market's been mostly
NVDL.
flat all day. We've had some upward
NVDU.
momentum here, but look, chop,
CGC.
run, chop.
NVDA.
MYNZ.
All right. Now, it doesn't even necessarily mean we're
KTTA.
going to run next. We could, but
NVDU.
stagnation. Stagnation here.
SON.
Sideways price action. Maybe the market's waiting for ISM services. I don't know.
NVDA. CGC. QBTS. LVTS.
CGC.
CGC.
KTTA.
NVDL. NVDL. SON. NVDA.
Yeah, all good, Sam.
SON.
No worries, man.
SON.
CGC.
NVDA. NVDA. CGC. NVDL. SON. SON. NVDA. NVDU. NVDU. CGC.
ACB.
YCBD.
Yeah, I've heard
YCBD.
the anchored VWAP is useful as well.
SMCI. 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 YCBD.
Thanks for the
CGC.
economical overview. Well, as
YCBD.
somebody corrected me a long time ago, economical means
ACB.
lower,
ACB.
like a less energy, less
KTTA.
effort,
KTTA.
lower price, like
NVDL.
cheaper, less energy.
KTTA.
NVDA.
KTTA.
That's the definition
NVDL.
for economical, right? I'm wondering what the actual textbook definition is.
TYGO. NVDA.
Giving
NVDA.
good value or service in
NVDA.
relation to the amount of time, effort. Yeah, cheap,
NVDL.
basically.
NVDA.
Using no more of something than necessary. So my definition was pretty right.
NVDL.
Yeah, so economical is different
ACB.
than economy. Economic is probably the word you're thinking about, but hey, I appreciate it. Cos, thanks,
NVDA.
Manny. Thanks for the economical overview. In the last half hour, I've learned more about economy and investment than I have in my whole life. Hey, good, man. Don't copy me, though. I'm not an investment professional, but I appreciate it.
MRVL. NVDA.
ACET.
MRVL. MRVL. CLF. SON.
KTTA.
CLF.
Do you think NVIDIA was oversold with the news of
NVDA.
DeepSeek? And what do you think the NVIDIA
RGTI.
price will look like in 6 months? I really don't know. I think it's tough.
SON.
KTTA.
NVDU. NVY. MRVH.
I think,
NVDA.
yeah, I think NVIDIA
SON. NVDL.
PE ratio is
SON.
still pretty high, although it's not like crazy
NVDL.
high. Like an example of this, Palantir's PE ratio is
NVDL.
way bigger than NVIDIA's. I think Palantir's is almost 4x
SON.
PE ratio, price to earnings. That
NVDL.
NVIDIA
SFHG.
is. So in terms of extension,
NVDL.
SMCX.
I'm
SMCI.
not sure.
Watch the spread.
NVIDIA, I think
SMCI.
AI takes over
NVDL.
the world to a certain extent, and I think
SMCX.
NVIDIA is on the forefront of that. and
Big
position
spread.
themselves very, very well, regardless of the DeepSeek news and how many chips
SMCI.
are needed and what kind of chips are needed. I think NVIDIA is on the front of that right now,
SMCX.
regardless of anything else.
SMCX.
But even though the internet was such a useful technology at the time, we still had one of the biggest bear markets,
SON.
and, dips
SON.
and crashes in history from the dot-com crash. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're not going
SMCX.
to correct.
SMCX.
So in
SMCX.
that regard, I don't know. I really don't know. I think either thing could happen. I'm just going to sit on my toes
SMCX.
and wait. Sit on my hands, and wait.
SMCX. SMCX.
SMCX.
Explain how to read PE
SMCX.
ratios. So PE ratio is,
SMCX.
like, you can calculate it yourself.
SMCX.
You take the
SMCX.
the last 4 quarters of the
SMCX.
trailing 12 month, which is 4 quarters. You add up the last 4 quarters PE. You add up the last 4 quarter EPS, and then you divide it by the share price. And so an example of this is like say last quarter was
ACB.
2 EPS a share. The next quarter was 1. The next quarter was 3. The next quarter was 1 again. And that equals
SMCX.
7. So yearly,
SMCX.
yearly EPS is 7.
SMCX.
So say the
SMCX.
price of shares is $200 a share. You take 200 divided by 7,
SMCX.
and that'll give you a PE
SMCX.
ratio of about
SMCX.
28.5.
Big spread.
Right? Like that's how you
OPTT.
calculate PE ratio.
SMCX.
Now,
SMCI
Right now in
Super
this
Micro
current
shares
market,
spiking
under
here,
30
Sandy
is
Michael
pretty
Charlie
good.
India.
right? Like most Mag 7 stocks are not under 30. I think
JCI.
Meta is under 30 right now.
MRVL.
LUMN.
Apple
JCI.
might be. I'll have to go back and look. But a lot of them are not under 30. Conventionally, I would say
ramping
good is
full
like
production
15,
of NVIDIA
right? So the lower PE
Blackwell
ratio, the
rack
better,
scale
the more
solutions
bang
with
for your
NVIDIA
buck
HGX
in terms of
B200.
like
That's
earnings versus
SMCI
price
and NVDA.
in shares. And so, again, the lower the
SMCX.
better it is. The easiest way to gauge this is to compare it to the
RGTI.
last 10 years PE
NVDA.
ratio. Right?
SON.
And so see what the
RGTI.
average PE ratio is for the company if it's been around the market for over 10 or 20 years, and then
SON.
compare that to what it is now. Well, it'll give you another look at like value of said company in terms of
NVDA.
history, if that makes sense. So just compare to the last 10 years PE ratio. You can use AI to do this as well. You can say, hey AI, like
RGTI.
I could say,
RGTI.
like
Sir.
look, let me find AI. So I could say, what is
SMCX.
the average 10-year PE ratio for Meta right now?
SMCX.
Meta has a current PE ratio of 29. Over the past decade,
Sir.
Meta's PE ratio has shown
SMCX.
fluctuations
RGTI.
with a high of
RGTI.
108 and a low of
NVDL.
865,
PCT.
resulting in a median PE ratio of
MRVL.
basically 29.99 during the last 10
Sir.
years. So basically right now, Meta is
SMCI.
priced appropriately
SMCI.
relative to the last 10 years PE ratio for the company. Right, Meta's PE ratio currently is about
SMCX.
29.4. Its average is a little bit over that.
SMCX.
SON.
And so, it's
SMCX.
SMCX.
Barkin says we can't rest on
SMCX.
security protocols
SMCX.
in place with levels of uncertainty with tariffs.
But also,
Barkin
like,
said
PE
first is
ratio
what
is not a
level of
perfect
countries,
metric.
what
Like, it
response,
has some
what
flaws.
countries
It's not the end all be all.
and
You wanna
companies
look at
have.
an array of different things. You're gauging value for companies. Disney earnings were good for the most part, although they didn't hold most of the gains.
Fed Barkin said, how is all this going to land on the
KTTA.
consumer?
Yeah, Palantir. With that said, Palantir's PE ratio.
KTTA.
I asked AI to do it, and it didn't give me for something. Maybe for
NRVL.
GAAP, which is generally
NVDL.
accepted accounting principles.
SMCI hitting new highs now,
but
30.70 up a dollar.
It showed Palantir's PE
$1.54.
ratio was
ACB.
like
54, that's Sandy
something
Microtrailing
crazy like
India.
that, which is high, of course.
KTTA.
EDBL, Edible Garden,
KTTA.
32 cents to high, up 11 cents.
Supermicro
On their press
Semiconductor
release.
popping up today. Did they have earnings this morning?
KTTA. KTTA.
Barkin said, who bears the cost of the tariffs in the end?
KTTA.
Yeah, Supermicro
KTTA.
Semiconductor is up big. I don't know if they have earnings or news today.
KTTA.
Supermicro is ramping up full production of NVIDIA's Blackwell rack scale solutions with NVIDIA's HGX.
Capri Holdings
B200.
executive says expect
That's
Q4
the
to
news
reflect
on
the greatest
Supermicro.
wholesale quarterly decline. That's
SMH.
CPRI.
Yep, so here's the news.
RGTI. RGTI. ADA. NVDA.
700 is efficient. I'm sorry,
Barkin,
we're living in the metaverse
Barkin
right
said
now.
useful to look at 2018
No,
and
that's not what
2019
it is.
experience.
We're looking at-
Most of the studies
Again,
suggest
OPTT.
those
NVDL.
delivered 30
I think
to
you're
40
looking at
basis
everything
points
one-dimensional.
NVDL.
I'm not saying is price good right now. I'm talking about in terms
of
PE
inflation in
ratio.
an era with little inflation.
NVDA.
It's
NVDA.
efficiently priced
BBAI.
versus the last 10 years average
NVDA.
PE ratio for Meta.
NVDL.
Right, and I think people see, ooh, big number bad,
AAL.
big number bad, right?
NVDU.
Not necessarily the case, right? You're looking at it one-dimensionally.
White
You're
House
only looking
officials
at
said
price,
Trump will
right?
end the
If a
unfair
company goes up as much
participation
as
of
Meta
men and women's
has,
sports,
but
as
its
Title IX of women's
earnings
sports should not
increase
equate gender
in a
and
similar
sex.
ratio
Will
to
apply
the stock
existing
price.
regulations. Will look for
Is it
additional
really
regulations to
overpriced?
apply. White House said will also call for
No, it's not. It's pretty
investigation of
evenly
the
priced
DOE
versus the last
MVIS.
10 years.
implementation of
BBAI.
Title
Doesn't mean
IX.
it's not going to
BBAI.
correct. Doesn't mean it's not going to pull back. But you're looking at only
SMH.
price, Boris. Like, you got to learn about like the difference between price and earnings. If a company's earnings
Lex.
increase parallel with the price,
BBAI.
then it's in the same position it
KTTA.
was. You know, I mean, it's in a better
ACB.
position, but the ratio is the
KTTA.
same.
JCI. JCI.
PWM.
JCI.
All right, guys, we got 15 minutes.
ALAB.
ACB.
NVDL. NVDL. NVDL.
All right, we're still pretty stagnated.
KTTA.
charts.
NVDA. BDA. JCI.
Nintendo is going to hold a Switch
NVDA.
2 event on April
NVDU.
2nd.
Snap.
NVDU.
The Nintendo
NVDL.
Switch 2 is coming out, guys.
NVDL. NVDL. NVDA. NVDL. NVDA. NVDL. NVDL.
Yeah, I saw
KTTA.
ACB rip it up too.
ALAB. NVDL.
How does a company start and make
NVDA.
stocks for their company?
EDBL, 34
They
They go
cents
to
now
the,
up
they go to the
NVDL.
stock
13
factory
cents.
and
EDBL.
JCL.
you know they
NVDL.
just start building stocks. It takes a lot of different
NVDL.
ingredients. You know?
ACB.
I know like a stock is made
NVDA.
up of like sugar, spice, and
NVDL.
everything nice.
ACDT.
NVDU.
So
NVDL.
they go to the stock factory. The stork brings them there, and then
JCI.
they
NVDL.
produce the stocks there in the stock factory.
NVDL.
So, no, obviously I'm joking.
SMCI.
The
SMCX.
company goes public.
NVDL.
There's a private company and a public company. A private
NVDL.
company
ACET.
is what it is. A private company is
SMCI.
one that doesn't have to
SMCX.
necessarily show how much
SMCX.
it makes, how much it earns, the inside information.
SMCX.
It's not publicly listed on the
SMCI.
stock market or any exchange. It's what's called a
SMCX.
private company. Think of
White
X
House
right
will
now.
also
Twitter is
address
now
issue in
private.
private
Elon
sector
took
with
it private.
inviting
It used to be
sporting
public.
organizations to share stories.
Guru.
Now,
SMCX.
generally
SMCX.
what happens
SMCX.
NVDL.
SMCX.
Generally what happens is a company starts out private. All companies are private for the most part when they start out. They start out private. They start producing money,
AZN.
right? Eventually, the
BBAI.
CEO, the reason they want to
BBAI.
go from public
BBAI.
to private, or from private to
BBAI.
public is money related, right? Like they have much better potential of earning money like think of the public market like
NVDA.
funding, right? So when a company goes public, they get public funding.
NVDA.
People are able to invest, and that allows the company
NVDL.
to bring in much more
NVDL.
revenue than it did
NVDA.
privately. Right?
NVDL.
But there's some cons to that as
NVDA.
well. Like a public
NVDA.
company has to report quarterly earnings. They got to do a lot of different.
NVDU.
They got to go through a lot of different hassle and red tape
NVDA.
to be publicly listed. And there are risks. You know, if the
SFHG.
company doesn't IPO well and fails, the
NVDA.
company could go out of business going public.
CRD.
But if it's a good company, generally they're going to be okay, and not
VAI.
always, but in general they're going to earn the most when they go
TNXP.
public.
Watch
so
the
there's a lot
spread.
of nuance behind that. but yeah.
SFHG.
ALAB.
That's what it is. Like Facebook started out privately back in
KTTA.
the early 2000s.
KTTA.
Eventually, by 2011, I think, Facebook was so big and had gained so many users, they decided to go public, and their IPO was super successful. They ended up making billions and billions of dollars from the
SFHG.
IPO, ultimately propelling Mark Zuckerberg to be one of the richest people in the world from Facebook going public.
NVDA.
Right, and it's only
NVDL.
grown more and more. Now
NVDL.
Meta's at $700 a share. Is an example of why companies want to go
NVDA.
public. And he's super wealthy, of
NVDL.
course.
NVDL. NVDA. NVDL. AAL. ALAB.
KTTA.
NVDU.
SFHG.
And so you're asking about stocks. So
RGTI.
stocks are
Lux.
RGTI.
so like you got to think of it like stocks. The float is how many
Sophie.
shares the company decides to create.
RGTI.
Right. The float are how many shares that are
RGTI.
available to the public. The outstanding shares are how many shares the company
Sophie.
decides to create. And obviously, if you want to find the value of a company, you multiply the outstanding shares by the price of the shares.
PWM.
Right,
Barkin
so if a
said
company
globalization
has,
has been disinflationary.
The company has 1 billion shares, and each share is worth
TMF.
$12. That's a $12 billion company.
OSCR.
You know, and that's how you calculate it.
RGTI.
And so, say you're the CEO of said company, and
SMCI.
you founded the company, and you're the CEO.
SMCX.
You keep,
Barkin
you know,
does worry that
30% of those
globalization could
shares.
be a headwind to
VBAI.
U.S. growth.
you're going to have $3.6 billion. You know, in net worth and value in the shares that you own, and you can decide to sell those shares and lock in that money, or you can
S&P
decide to sit on those
futures
shares and let
moving
the
to
company
the
grow
highs
more.
now
And that's what
60.49.75
happens with these
down
CEOs.
about 13.
RGTI. ETHA. MBIO.
Yeah, at inception, they decide who gets ownership shares.
SMCX.
BDAI.
Uber CEO thinks autonomous
SMCX,
US dollar $1 trillion
BBAI.
in the US, according to CNBC.
SMCX. SMCX.
BBAI.
SMCI.
He thinks the autonomous market is up to $1 trillion
SMCX.
value.
SMCX. SMCX.
The question is, how do they compete with
MSTX.
Tesla?
BBAI.
MSTX.
You know, or if they partner with Tesla, it might be even better.
ACV.
But I think there's a chance that when full self-driving comes out, it renders a lot of Uber and Lyft's models obsolete. There's also a chance that when FSD comes out, that they partner with
RGTI.
Uber, and that makes both markets grow more exponentially. I don't know.
BTI. SMCX.
Hey, later, Lolo.
OpenAI said deep research now rolled out to 100% of all pro users, including the UK,
LITM.
EU, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Switzerland. That's OpenAI.
ACB.
Mara.
SFHG.
Mara.
All right,
Mara.
guys. Also, if you haven't already, again, check out
BBAI.
TopStep. TopStep gives
Mara.
you a demo.
BBAI.
You test your skill with a demo account
LCID.
first. If you
KTTA.
pass the test, they fund you. If
LCID.
you fail, you generally only lose what you pay for the base package,
RGTI.
which the base one's $49 a month. It's a great way to learn how to day trade. You
ACB.
got to think of it like a souped-up demo account. They give you a 50K demo. If you can make
QBTS.
3K in profit day trading on that 50K demo without losing $2,000 first, following their rules and conditions, you want to
KTTA.
confirm it all with them first. They fund you 50K, 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K in profit.
KTTA.
And so when you compare the value there, the
QNTM.
base one's $49 a month. That's your risk, right? That's a lot less risk than
RGTI.
funding your own account 10, 20, 30 grand and losing that like most new
RGTI.
traders do.
RGTX.
And if you fail, you're out
MSTX.
$49. It's not the end of the world. comes with real-time data. We're going to pay for a
WDAY.
demo account in futures with real-time data. In some places, it's going to cost around the same ballpark anyway. Top Step X has zero commissions, and again, it teaches you how to trade. It teaches you how to follow rules. You have to learn to follow their rules. You got to learn to trade under pressure. You're still risking something as well. So it's a beautiful
SMCI,
middle ground.
super micro,
You're
is
still risking
pumping
something.
to the high
You're not
stuff.
risking
BBAI.
SMCI of 10, 20, 30
BBAI.
grand. That's what a lot of
BBAI.
traders
Blackwell
do when
Rec Scale
when they start day
Solutions.
trading.
That's
They end up risking
SMCI.
and losing their first couple accounts. I know I did.
SMCI.
But again, understand CFTC
SMCI.
4.41 hypothetical simulated performance have limitations. I'm not an investment professional, and they pay me money, so I'm biased
TNXP.
in their favor. Understand all this stuff, guys. Can't guarantee anything. You can confirm it all with them. But in my opinion, it's genuinely really, really useful because almost all day traders lose. Most of them lose thousands if they deposit, or thousands they usually lose in the
TNXP.
beginning. It just doesn't
Big
make
spread.
sense to risk your own money like that in the
ACB.
beginning. Instead, try a funded account program. If you pass it, you get a
KTTA.
50K funded account with a 90% split for the base one. You can also buy the more expensive ones, and you get 150K funding on the top one with a 90% split. And you get to
LAES.
keep your first 10K in profit
KTTA.
as well. So that split is similar to
BBAI.
funding your own account, but the risk is less,
SMCS.
right? And again, if you use Top Step X, there's zero commission. And so I can make $10, $20, $30 trades and still net most of the profit on Top Step X
KTTA.
with that aspect of zero commission.
KTTA.
But again, confirm it all with them. I'm
SMCX.
biased, of course. But if you want to check it out, here's the link.
SMCX.
Great way to help support the channel.
BBAI. BBAI. BBAI.
ACB.
Long-term
BBAI.
bonds almost over 90.
SMCX. SMCI.
Yeah, well, that's just because
BBAI.
interest rates are
BBAI.
lower, and yields are going down. The price of the underlying bonds are going to be going up,
SMCX.
which is TLT is 20-year Treasury bonds.
SMCX.
Prices.
SMCX. SMCX.
Super Micro up 10%.
QBTS.
Yeah,
ACB.
Super Micro is up 10%
WDAY.
after they announced that
SMCX.
they're going to be like dealing with a lot of the Blackwell
Mexican
chips or something like that.
Mexican
Let me see.
President Scheinbaum says our government's goal is to use
Where'd it
all
go?
Mexican crude oil for domestic refining.
Yeah, Super Micro ramping up full production of the
WDAY.
Blackwell
Matt.
rack scale solutions with the NVIDIA HGX B200 is what it is.
SMCI. SMCI. SMCX.
SMCX.
SMCX. SMCX.
SMCX.
Health is going to acquire
Big spread.
Catapult Health in a 65
SMCX.
WDAY.
Big spread.
SMCX.
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 Can you explain roughly what
Big
you have
spread.
to do to get funded with Top Step? Yeah, so to get funded with Top Step, again, they give you your 50K demo for the base one, is what I'm looking at. You have to earn, you got to make 3K as your goal, right? So for the 50K demo, you got to earn $3,000 in profit net, right? And there are some fees, but there's no commissions, so that's useful.
ACHR.
But again, it's
OGI.
you got to earn 3K in profit on the 50K demo.
ACHL.
The max loss, I believe, is 2,000. So it's a 2 to 3 ratio. You can't lose 2K. You got to make 3K. It's a 2 to 3, which is a reasonable ratio to test your skill. To be honest, you can't use more than 5
MVIS.
contracts, which is honest of regular e-minis. You can't use more than 5 contracts. I think you can't use more than either 20 or 30 micro contracts.
FBM.
But again, to put it into perspective, 5 contracts of the e-mini is plenty. Like with 2 contracts of the e-mini, you can be
WDAY.
down thousands or up thousands.
Watch
in
the spread.
minutes. It's incredibly like that's plenty of size. 5 contracts. The only other nuance that I can understand, there's some
ADI,
prohibited
ADI.
rules in trading that you want to confirm this all with them. This is just from basic memory, as well as like
ASTS.
look at the market pop up testing that 2155 level. But then also, it's going to take you a minimum of 2 days to pass the challenge. Meaning,
KTTA.
like, you can earn 1,500 one day, 1,500 the next. And now
PDY.
they're a little bit
KTTA.
loose with this, so like you can earn, from my
TNXP.
experience, you can earn
LTBR.
1450 one day, 1550 the next to
BBAI.
equal 3K.
BBAI.
And they'll still pass you, and you'll get a funded
WMB.
account or whatever. And then once you activate the account, it's $100 and something to activate each funded account. But yeah, that's what it is.
ACB.
I'm pretty sure those are the rules. For the regular NQ,
CRML.
that is
ACET.
plenty of size. The
LPSN.
regular NASDAQ moves quick.
SMCX.
The only
Big
time
spread.
I'll trade the regular NASDAQ is if I build up a big cushion on the day.
SMCX. Big
Yeah, you
spread.
can't earn more than 50%
SMCX.
of 3K
Big
in a
spread.
day, meaning like you have to earn 1,500 one day, 1,500 the next if you want to pass it in 2 days, or you can earn $1,000 one day, $1,000 the next, $1,000 the
SMCX.
next, and then pass, right? But you can't break, if the profit goal is 9K, like I think the top
BBAI.
one, the 151, you got to make 9K in profit. You can't earn over $4,500
BBAI.
in any given day.
NNBC.
CRDS.
NNBC.
ASTS. ASTS. NNBC.
What can make the Fed in quantitative tightening? Well, quantitative tightening is a high interest rate hawkish action by the Fed. So QT is a hawkish action by the Fed. It's basically them reducing their balance sheet
NNBC.
to take liquidity away from those markets and ultimately help
NNBC.
potentially inflation get better. What can make the Fed in QT? Inflation coming in low, economic weakness.
ET.
Can make the Fed in
KTTA.
QT.
ORCL.
Because you got to think about it in the Fed's mind. The Fed, QT is a balancing effect right now where it's helping curb inflation, which is a big fear in markets. If the economy starts to go weak and look like GDP
BBAI.
starts dropping, unemployment
NNBC.
spikes,
NNBC.
stuff like that, the Fed might say, hey, like we're being a little bit too hawkish. Let's end QT
ORCL.
and
CLSK.
lower interest rates or something like
RGTI.
that if it gets really bad.
NVDU.
Or if inflation is just around targets, like if inflation is
NVDL.
under control,
NVDL.
there's not
NVDL.
as much of a
RGTI.
need for quantitative tightening as there was before. You know, it's really trying to
RGTI.
protect us against
NVDL.
inflation. Is what the Fed is doing,
NVDL.
QT.
NVDL.
NVDL.
Yeah, all good. You don't have any maximum time limit, I think, Michael.
EDRY, Euro Drive,
NVDL.
NVDA.
to sell NV Tassos for about $5 million. That's Echo Delta Romeo Yankee.
PDYN. NVDA. NVDA.
NVDL. NVDL.
Fed didn't cause record high inflation, Kevin. Again, you got to look at it in terms of we had a global macroeconomic like black swan event. Look at the market pumping up. Market just broke highs. I don't know if it's highs of the day or the last few hours, but the market just ripped up.
ACB.
Again, like
ACET.
people like to blame the Fed for everything. If
CONL.
SED. JCI.
NVDA. ORCL. AONL.
SXTP announced $1.075 million registered direct royalty
QNTM.
price that the market.
AVGO. AVGR. AVGO. AVGO.
AVGO. QNTM.
LTBR.
Matt.
JCI. ORCL.
QNTM.
MRCY.
QNTM. QNTM. Matt. QNTM.
JCI. Matt.
QNTM.
JCI. AVGS.
KTTA. QNTM.
NVNI,
QNTM.
we gained compliance with NASDAQ full risk.
RGTI.
250 C2, that's NVNI.
MSFU. LTBR. Mara. TLT. FBL. LTBR. TLT.
1 minute to the U.S. market open.
ANET.
QNTM. QNTM.
ANET. ANET. CLF. ANET.
QNTM.
Tech. ANET. ANA.
HMC, Honda Motors said on report on integration of management between Nissan Motor and Honda, says Nissan and company are at the stage of advancing various discussions. That's HMC.
NMR. Coin. JCI.
QNTM.
JCI. IMG. ORCL. CLTI.
QNTM.
XYZ. XYZ. OSDR.
ACB.
TAM.
ABNW, QNTM,
WU, Western Union, and Penn launch international money transfer services. That's Whiskey Uniform.
KTTA, ABNW,
GCTK, Glucotrack files for offering
ABNW.
2.6 million shares of common stock.
ABNW.
Kilo. S&P 500 down 13.40. Dow is up 11.93.
ABNW,
Nasdaq is down 125.
ABNW.
PIX.
S&P 500 down 13.40. Dow is up 11.93.
YP.
TSS, DTSS, TNXP, BBAI, CPIX, BBAI, BBAI, Boy, ABAT, HUBC,
Fed's Barkin says there are jobs out there that have been devalued, that have been revalued up because of scarcity.
ICHR, Big Spread, MWA, DDD, QNTM, Boy, QNTM, SFHG, CPIX, RDCM, Big Spread, TNXP, QNTM, ABAT, CPIX, ACB, ACB, KTTA, TNXP, Big Spread, TNXP, Big Spread, BBAI, TNXP, Big Spread, BBAI, CRNC, TNXP, Big Spread, KC, TNXP, Gift, QNTM, OPTT, KC, TNXP, ACB, KTTA, BBAI, ACB, KC, TNXP, KC, SFHG, KC, SFHG, ACB, TNXP, Big Spread, CPIX, ACB, CPIX, AKAN, TNXP, AKAN, AKAN, TNXP, ACB, TNXP, TNXP, KTTA, TNXP, BBAI, TNXP, BBAI, TNXP, KTTA, AKAN, TNXP, Big Spread, BBAI, KTTA, TNXP, Big Spread, TNXP, Big Spread, QNTM, TNXP, 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 ACB, TNXP, Big Spread, AKAN, TNXP, BBAI, TNXP, TNXP, Big Spread, TNXP, Big Spread, ACB, TNXP, ACB, GPRO, TNXP, 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 Big Spread, TNXP, TNXP, Big Spread, GPRO, GPRO, Assistant, Assistant. ACB. JSPR. Assistant. ACB. CPIX. Assistant. CPIX. CPIX. TNXP. TNXP. ACB. ACB. CPIX. 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 VFF. KTTA. PCT. Assistant. Assistant.
Step into Wix Studio,
Assistant.
the web platform for agencies and enterprises, where creative freedom meets absolute efficiency.
CPIX. Assistant. CPIX. Assistant. CPIX. FNGD. SFHG. OPTT. VLCN. Assistant. VLCN. 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 SFHG.
Coming up, the S&P Global Composite PMI for January 52.4, Services
Assistant.
PMI 52.8.
Assistant. SFHG. CPIX. BCIG. BCIG. CPIX. TNXP. Assistant. Assistant. ACB. ACET. ASM. TNXP. Big spread. CPIX.
WGS, Gene DX,
CPIX.
research with a negative report. Says company
CPIX.
actively committing widespread fraud according to insiders. That's Whiskey Golf Sandy.
CPIX. TNXP.
52.9 on the global services PMI for January versus 52.8
TNXP.
expected.
TNXP. TNXP. NKLA.
52.7 on the composite PMI versus 52.4.
TNXP. Big spread. SFHG. NNVC. TNXP.
WGS, GDX,
Big
shares
spread.
falling on that Grizzly Research report.
TNXP. Big spread. TNXP. TNXP. SFHG.
WGS share is hitting 67.50 at the low. Whiskey Golf
DDD.
Sandy.
Dis. TNXP. Big spread. Assistant. CPIX. TNXP. 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 Big spread. GPRO. TNXP. Big spread. TNXP. CPIX. CPIX. Assistant.
Coming up at 10, the ISM non-manufacturing PMI for January, 54.2 peak consensus. And at 10:30, crude and gasoline inventories.
Assistant. BBAI. BTNB. TNXP. BTNB. NKTR. CPIX.
OPFI, I'm fine getting a pop here of about 3.7%.
TNXP. Big spread. TNXP. TNXP. Big spread. LPTH. TNXP. Big spread. Assistant. Assistant. TNXP. Assistant. VLDP. Assistant. CPIX. 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 Assistant. CPIX. CPIX. Assistant. UNTM.
Searching for music for your next
WGS.
video? Then you need to check out.
Watch the spread. WGS. Watch the spread. CPIX. TNXP. Big spread. CPIX. WGS. Watch the spread. QNTM. CGC. CGC. CPIX. EYPT. RNXP. Assistant. BLDP. ACET. CPIX. REBN. ACET. ACB. KTTA. RXT. KTTA.
Coming up, the ISM non-manufacturing
KTTA.
PMI for January 52, the consensus. 54.2, the consensus.
RNAZ. Big spread. RXT. CPIX. RNAZ. ACB. CPIX. ACB. CPIX. ABL. CPIX. ABL. CPIX. ABL. CPIX. LAES. SIDU. Assistant. ZNTL. SNDL. AKAN.
RNAZ Transcode Therapeutics currently halted at the highs of 36%. Romeo November Alpha Zulu.
AKAN.
$52.8 on the ISM
Assistant.
non-manufacturing PMI versus 54.2 consensus.
AKAN.
S&P futures getting a pop here on following the 10 a.m. data.
WCT. QNTM.
CPIX, Cumberland Pharma, resuming.
ARVN.
Cumberland popping
BBAL.
$6.35 now. Charlie Papa India X-ray. Coming up at 10:30, crude
REBN.
gasoline inventories. Crude a build of 2.4 million. Distillates a draw of 2.1 million. Gasoline a draw of 900,000. That's coming up
Assistant.
in 28 minutes at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
KTTA. KTTA. KTTA.
RNAZ shares resuming
KTTA.
trade.
KC.
Shares hitting $9.45.
CLDI. CGC.
$9.75 now on transcode.
BYPT.
Earn 6% cash back when you use your American Express Blue Cash Preferred Card at
ABL. CGC. BYPT. KTTA. Assistant. KTTA. ABL. IVP.
MMM 3M. 3M says in October got grand jury subpoena
ABL.
from U.S. Attorney's Office for Western District of Wisconsin. Sought records related to Prairie Chen facility and May 2023
Open.
incident at the facility. That's Michael. That is a filing.
CPIX.
3M said cooperating and providing information in response to the subpoena.
CPIX. 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 CPIX.
CDW shares pulling back here following the company's
CPIX.
earnings report earlier. Right now trading up about 4.4% at 2.47, but well off the earlier highs.
CPIX.
The Charlie Delta Whiskey. WGS,
CPIS.
GDX holding, the low is now 68.49, down about 5% on negative report from Grizzly Research.
RNAZ.
WGS.
Big spread. RNAZ. RNAZ. Big spread. RNAZ. CPIX. CPIX. RNAZ. Big spread. REKR.
MAIA, Noble Financial, reiterating their outperform rating and $14 price target on MAIA Biotechnology.
TNXP.
101 interim update shows increasing survival preliminary results continue to be promising. That's Michael Alpha, India Alpha.
Big spread. Assistant. TNXP. Assistant. CPIX. OPTT.
LTBR, Lightbridge popping here to the high, $9.99 at 4.25%. LTBR.
SFHG.
CPIX halted
SMST.
on a circuit breaker. KRKR halted on a circuit breaker.
Assistant. SPXS. Assistant. KTTA. SFHG. REKR. SMST. TLRY. RNAZ. Big spread.
RNAZ, $10.20 now, the highs. Transcode, that's the highs up about 65%. And shares are
RNAZ.
halted.
Big spread.
$10.20.
RNAZ. RNAZ.
Actually, share is still trading now, 10.21 on RNAZ.
RNAZ. BBAI.
Share is continuing now, $10.78 now.
NVDL. RNAZ. RNAZ. BBAI. RNAZ. CPIX. CPIX. DNA. KTTA. NKTR. BTCT. Big spread. BTCT. AMDS.